All right, welcome back, the Genius. Okay. Um, Today in this section, we'll talk about the string comparisons and interpolation in JavaScript. Okay. Before we go on, just give me a minute. Let me sort out something. Okay. So now, string comparisons in and interpolation in JavaScript. We have started the chapter of string, and we have taken a look at all this all the methods and properties. Okay, we only just have one property in string. So right now, let us talk more about string comparison, because when you're writing real code, you'll be working with a lot of string. All right. Your program has to do with a lot of string comparison, interpolation. You're going to be working with string a lot. So that is why this chapter is very, very interesting. That is why this session is also very, very important. Let us see how we actually compare strings and also how we do string interpolation in JavaScript. Okay, so in JavaScript, string comparisons and interpolations are fundamental operations that they are both straightforward and versatile. We use them a lot. We use them a lot, okay? And they also involve checking the quality or ordering of the strings. So when you want to compare string, you can also compare them whether two of the two strings are equal. You can also compare their ordering. Is A greater than B, or is A less than C, or something like that, okay? So that's what we're going to be taking a look at here. Strings are compared lexicographically. Now, when we say strings are compared lexicographically, it means that we actually check their dictionary order. How do they appear? When you look at the alphabet, okay, the English alphabet, or whether even though it's not the English alphabet, it could be it could be German or any language at all. But we look at their dictionary order based on their Unicode values. In the last session, when we were talking about string local compare, when we are talking about the local compare method, we mentioned how we use the Unicode values to check. So whenever we are comparing the lexicographical um, 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 whenever we are comparing strings lexicographically, like that means we have to check the order in which they appear. If you want to say A is less than B or B is greater than A, we are actually checking their dictionary order based on their Unicode value. Remember, every alphabet, all right, every character has a Unicode value. Remember the character set and encoding that we did last time. You understand that every character has a Unicode value that is used to represent them in the computer. Okay, so now that is what we check. So we are going to take more look at it. So how do we compare strings? Okay, we first of all, one of the comparison we do is the quality check. When you say a string, when you say a string, one string and another, we want to check if they are equal. Okay, we actually check the equality. And basically, now we have seen this before. Most of the things we are going to be discussing in this session, we have seen them before, but we just want to drive them home when it comes to string. Okay, so the strict equality operator checks if two strings are identical in both value and type. Remember the strict equality operator. It checks for both the value and their type. All right. So when we have this string that is constant, hello and hello, both of them seem what they are. Both of them are equal, both in value and in type. Both of them are equal, both in value and in type. So if we go to code, if I go to code here, and I will need to. Okay, we can continue with this string. Okay. All right. So I can expand. All right. Maybe I'll have to get these guys out. All right. So, okay. So if I have this string, I can say string one is equal to hello. I have another one. So there are several scenarios where you actually check for the quality of strings. Okay, if somebody gives you their username, of course you would want to check if that username is the same thing, the one they gave us in the database. If they are logging in, all right, you want to check if the username they gave us is the same thing. So if we say console.log, we'll say string 1 is equal to string 2. Here, we are checking for both the type and the value. And you can see the type of this string is what? Is the type of this string 1 is string, and the other one, both of them are strings. So if we run this, of course, we are going to get true. We are going to get true. But the thing is this, what if um what if we have something like this? All right. Okay. Now you can see that this one is no longer a string. The data type is no longer a string. Okay, so if we run this now, we are going to get false. Moreover, there will be an error because this hello will be seen as a variable and we don't have it. Okay, so with the strict equality operator, you check for both the type and the value. All right, so you can also check for the loose equality. With the loose equality, it compares values after type conversion and it is used sparingly. Short, we have been mentioning this every time we talk about this loose equality. Don't use them. Always use the strict equality operators. Okay? Always use the strict equality operators. Now we have something like 42 here and we have 42 here. Both of them seem to be the same. Okay? And if we first of all do something like that, let's say I have 42 here and I also have 42 here. All right. If I do this comparison using the strict equality operator, it's going to give us false because the first one is a string type and the second one is a what? Is a number type. So both of them are not equal because the strict equality operator checks for both the type and the value. So the value seems to be the same, but the type is not the same. So if we run this now, we are going to get false because we are using the strict equality operator. We are going to get false. But what if we just use the loose equality operator? All right. The loose equality operator doesn't bother about the type. It only bothers about the value. And what it will do is that it would also convert for you. Now that we are comparing a string and a number, all right? It's going to convert it to a string. All right, it's going to convert this 42 that is a number here to string. And when you run them, it will give you true because it's only checking the value because the type of it will do the implicit conversion. Remember when we talk about the automatic conversion of data types, all right? So this would automatically convert. And after doing that, it will now compare the value. Of course, when we do this, it's going to give us true. So this can be source of errors. So don't use the loose equality operator. Always use the strict equality operator in everything you're doing. Whether you're comparing strings or you're comparing anything at all, always use the strict equality operator. It would save you a lot of errors and a lot of headache. Okay? All right, so the loose equality operator compares values, only the values, not the type, but it would do type conversion. First of all, it will do type conversion before comparing the values. And when we compare 42, which is a string, and 42, which is a number, it will do type conversion. After converting this 42 to string, it will now check their value, which will give us true. All right, so just be careful whenever, don't even be careful. Don't use loose equality operators. It's as simple as that. Don't use the loose equality operator, okay? All right. So when we do lexicographical comparison, we are more of doing relational comparison, all right? We are checking if a particular string is less than or equal to a particular string. And strings in JavaScript are compared lexicographically based on their Unicode values. All right? Based on their Unicode values. So now when we say string 1 and string 2, this is banana, this is apple, right? It is going to check, first of all, to check A against B. Do you understand? When you're actually saying, if you say string A 1 less than, okay, let me go to code. let me go to code, and I will come back to this, okay? If I have this first string as apple, and I have this one as banana, okay? I hope I get the spelling correctly. I hope so. All right. Okay. So when we say string 1 less than string 2, if we run this code, let us see what we are going to get. We are going to get true. Why? Because look at how it does it. It will check string 1 is apple, string 2 is B. So when we say we are checking the less than or equal to, okay, we are saying, first of all, it will check them alphabetically. The first alphabet in apple and the first alphabet in banana. So A and B will be compared. So A and B, which one comes first in the dictionary order? A comes first. That means A is less than B. So for the fact that the first two letters of these two strings has given us the result we want, there will be no need to check for extra. Okay, so A is less than B. Now, if we check this, let us do something like this. Let us check their Unicode values. I'll say console.log. Okay, I will say I'm checking for A dot character code at. Okay. Okay. I'm checking. You remember this method? We talked about it in the last section. The character code, we use it to get the Unicode value. So I could just say, okay, I will do something like this. I will do something like, um, I'll do something like this. I hope my code wouldn't confuse you. Okay. All right. All right. So. All right. So here I'm going to output display the Unicode value of A. I would also do the same thing with B. So we are going to see. I want you to understand this thing very well. You need to understand how these things are being compared. Okay. Now, if I run this code now, you can see that A is 97 and B is 98. And I told you that whenever you're doing this relational comparison, all right, first of all, they follow them alphabetically. We are comparing apple and banana. So the first thing that will be compared between these two is their first letters. So the first letter of apple is A, and the first letter of banana is B. So they will compare A less than B. And if you check, A is 97, B is 98. They are Unicode values. So is 97 less than 98? It is true because 97 is less than 98. That means comes first before B. Do you understand it? So that is it. They are comparing their Unicode. If I take this one out, if I comment this one out, whenever we are comparing this, okay, first of all, the first letters will be compared. If the answer is true, all right, there is no need to go on. But if both of them are equal, if this is A and A, uh, let's say we are comparing apple against ape. Do you understand? Look at it now. We are comparing apple against ape. All right. So I will comment this out. I wish you're going to understand this. Okay, it's very, very tricky. So just pay close attention. Whenever you're comparing two strings, like whenever you're doing a relational comparison, remember the greater than and less than equal to, greater than or equal to, okay? Whenever you're doing such comparison, what you're comparing is that you're comparing the characters in that string. So first of all, you compare their first letters. First, the letter A, first letter of the first string and first letter of the second string. Here, they are both equal. The first one, we have A and B as their first letters, and A was less than B. So the comparison stopped there and gave us true. But here we have A and A. So it will compare A and A. Is A less than A? The answer is no, is false because they are equal. There is not less than. 97 is not less than 97. Remember, they are comparing their Unicode characters, their Unicode values. It will come to the next one. It will check P and P. They are equal, so it's not less than. It will now come and check P and E. Now, is P less than E? The answer is no, because E comes before P. So the answer will give us false. So if we run this code now to compare string 1 and if it is less than string 2, it's going to give us false because we have checked the first two letters, their first letters. It gave us they are equal, it's not less than. P and P, they are equal. P and E, no, they are not equal. So it will not check which one comes first. E comes first. So it means that string 1 is not less than string 2. So it will give us false here. It will give us false. I hope you understand how this thing is being checked. All right. But if we turn this thing around now, all right, A and A first compared, all right, P and P, they are equal. P and E, they are not equal. So that is where the comparison will now come. Is P less than E? Is the Unicode value for P less than the Unicode value of E? The answer is no, because E is less than. So since P is not less than E, to give us false. But if we say is string greater than, it will do the same thing, but this time around, P is greater than E. All right, I hope you get to understand this. So if we run this now, we are going to get true because now we are saying greater than. So if you understood the relational operators, this is going to be easy for you to understand. All you have to know is how do they compare them? And that's what I'm trying to explain here. The first of all, when you have strings like this, whenever you're doing relational comparison, all right, they will have to follow them, their letters, the first letter against the first letter, the first letter of the first string against the first letter of the second string, the second letter against the second letter, the third letter against the third letter. So whenever we find their answer, it stops there. So here A is equal to A, B is equal to P. They are equal. Okay, so P is greater than A, and that is why we got true. But in the first one, we said less than. So P was not less than A, and we got false. So I believe you really understand this. And if you don't, please reach out to me, reach out to your instructor. If you don't understand this concept, you can reach out to us so that we can explain more to you. Just chat us up on WhatsApp and we will reach out, we will answer your question in case you don't understand this. But this is the much I can explain. All you have to do is to understand the relational comparison first. Then you now understand how these strings are being compared. Okay? All right. So when we compare something like A and capital A, all right, let's do the comparison. Let's compare, let's do something like we compare small a against the capital A. And if we run this now, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that this small a is greater than capital A. And that might not be what you expected. It is true, and it's telling us that small a is greater than capital A. Why is it? It is because of their Unicode values. All right. Now, when you compare A against is A greater than A, let us compare their Unicode values. Okay, let's compare their Unicode values and which one is greater. So when we run this, you're going to see that the Unicode value of A is 97, while the Unicode value of capital A is 65. So it's saying 97 is greater than 65, which is true. Do you understand? So the comparison is done based on their alphabetical order, how they come in dictionary, and again their Unicode values. That is what we are comparing, their Unicode values. And when we have two strings that are more than a character, then we compare them character against character. All right, the first character against the first character, the second character against the second character, or the third character against the third character, and that is how we compare them until we get our result. If you say A is equal to, all right, let us see what we will get. Of course, they are not equal to, so we will get false. Is 97 equal to 65? No. All right, so it is not equal to. All right, so if you understand the relational operators already, this will not be difficult to understand. But in case you get confused, please reach out to us. All right, reach out to us. We promise to personal coaching, and that's what we mean. If you don't understand this, please reach out to us. We are available. Chat us up on WhatsApp or you call us on phone. Okay. All right. Case insensitivity comparison. Sure, the thing is that whenever you're comparing your strings, okay, whenever you're comparing two strings, compare them with their lower cases. Convert string to a common case, lower case or upper case. If you compare these two strings now, all right, they are not equal. If we go and check, now let's compare these two strings. Okay, we say hello with a capital H, all right, and hello with a small h. Okay. So when you want to compare these two now, when you want to compare these two, okay, I'll take this out and I'll do this. If I say I want to compare their value, string one is always the strict equality operator always. Now are they equal? So you're going to say they are equal because both of them are hello, but they are not equal because of their cases. Hello, remember JavaScript is case sensitive. Okay, so when you run this now, you're going to be surprised. You get false because they are not equal. So that is why whenever you're comparing strings, always make it as a habit. Always make it as a habit to always convert them to lower cases. So whenever you start writing real program, especially when you're comparing, like now, where I always find this thing confusing is whenever I am maybe I'm checking a user password against the password they have in the database. Do you understand? So in cases like this, always convert them to lower cases. But in this case, now both of them are in their lower cases and they are equal. So always convert strings to lower cases before you compare them. All right? Okay. You can also use the local compare we did the other time. Remember, it was based on language, the culture, and we will talk more about this when we talk about internationalization, okay, and localization, okay? We'll talk about that. So when you can go back to the last session where we talked about this local compare, we are comparing these things based on, if we do not provide, it is still based on their Unicode values. All right. When we say here we are using is A. Look at this A. This is not the normal A in English. I think this, I don't know what this A is, but it's not the normal one. So if we compare them now, all right, if you don't, short, we talked about this local compare, so I'm not going to explain it again. If you don't understand the local compare, how it was, watch the previous section, just the immediate previous section, okay? And we can also talk about the string interpolation. We have been doing interpolation already, okay? We have been doing interpolation already, all right? So the basic use is that you embed a variable, all right? You embed a variable in a string literal. This is the basic usage. You already know how to use this because even in your assignment, you have done something like this, okay? So now, what about expressions in interpolation? Not just value. Remember, expression is anything that can be evaluated to a value. So expression can be function, it can be expressions itself, it can even be a variable. So how do you embed expressions in interpolation? So you can include any valid JavaScript expression inside this curly braces, the dollar and curly brace, okay? So any expression at all. So this is a normal one. So you can see the second one here has A plus B. You can do any expression at all. Let's go to code and see. I want to do some crazy interpolation here. So I'm just going to say, I will start with the template literal and I'll say my answer is, I want to interpolate an expression now. I'm interpolating an expression. I can say my answer is 3 exponential 6 plus 8 times 7. I can just do crazy things here. Now, this is an expression. Do you understand? I'm interpolating expression here. I'm embedding expression. It's not just going to be maybe a variable. This is an expression. It can be, but remember, if you want to do expressions like this, please always use the brackets, okay, to make your intent very clear. So here, I wouldn't know what the answer could be, but if we run this, we are going to see that we have embedded an expression. This is my answer. You can do inside this interpolation, okay, this dollar and curly brace, you can do any crazy thing here. You can do any crazy expression, but please, it is advisable that you actually do this thing outside, please. All right, for best practices, whenever you have these crazy expressions like this, please, in as much as you can do it, please, you can actually do something like this. Do that thing outside. It will make your code more readable. For God's sake, please do it like this. All right, this is better. Right now, we can read our code. We know that this result is coming from here, and it is the result of this expression, and we are embedding it here. This is this is way better. For readability, this code is more readable than when we have it before, having this expression inside here. You cannot, it's more readable like this, please, okay? In as much as you can do crazy expressions inside of interpolation like this, please always have them done out somewhere, then you cannot put the result inside like this, okay? You can also have multi-line, all right? Template literals allow multi-line strings easily, all right? When you start writing real programs, okay, as I was developing this platform, I use this a lot, okay? You can use multi-lines, and let's show you. All right, so I could have I could say my comment is, then I can have this multi-line inside here. Okay, I could just say my comment is this. All right. This is a multi-line. I do blah, 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 and is a multi-line, and it will take it. So if I save and run this code now, it's going to be printed out like that. Look at how it's printed out. Okay. So you can use string literal for multi-line. But you, of course, if you want to that is why, if you remember when we were talking, the first time we mentioned how to create strings, I advise you to always use string literal to create your strings. I'm telling you from experience, it will save you a lot of headache, a lot of errors, because there are some places you cannot just do some certain things. But when you use string template literal, you cannot have those errors or those headaches, okay? Always use string literals to create your string. Make it as a habit. It's very, very cool, all right? You can also have function inside interpolation, all right? You can actually have your function created somewhere and you call it inside like this, all right? Okay, so you know that functions always return something. So whether you intentionally use the return keyword or not, it will always return something. If you are not returning anything, it will return undefined. You know that. Okay, so since function is returning something, you can also interpolate it like this. Okay, so let's say I could have a function. Instead of doing this, I could have a function like this, and I will say this is this function. The name is, I can say, get results, okay, and it's a function like this, and I'm just returning, I'll return the answer. Okay, I will return something like this. So I can say I can call this function inside here, and let me just take this guy out. I can say console.log. I can say interpolation again. I can say my result, sorry, string literal, not, I can say my result is, and I'm using this interpolation, and I'm saying my result is, I'm now going to call this function get result, and I call it like this. So JavaScript is going to evaluate this expression for me. All right. Whatever that is evaluated out of this expression, which is this result, all right, it will now print it out. So if I go on and run, you see, first of all, JavaScript will evaluate this function. Whatever the return value is, it will now interpolate it inside of this string, and we get this. So this is the basics of string comparison and interpolation. It is something that you have to master. It is very, very useful, very, very, very useful. When you start writing big applications, you're going to see, you see these small things we are teaching you. That's what makes you a professional, because the way you'll be using these things, all right, the way I believe I can really argue to some extent that most these things we just taught now, you have not been taught it like this. All right. And when you have these small skills, they make you writing your code will be very, very easy. Okay. So thank you very much. If you get confused in any way, please reach out to us. We're always available to help. All right. That is why we are here for you. All right. If you get confused, please call back. Call us, chat us up on WhatsApp if you get confused, and we'll explain more to you, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next session.